What is going on, you guys? My name is Kyle Solkar, and this is my 2018 BMW M3. Now, it's gained a little bit of internet popularity over the years, and I bought this car brand new when I was 21 years old. And I know it's not the craziest car, it's not a Lamborghini, but it's mine, and I love it. And I really wanted to talk to you guys about what I did to afford this specific car and kind of the mistakes I made previously that brought me to this point and to buying a car like this. And it sounds interesting, it sounds crazy, it sounds weird, but having bought a Porsche 911 Turbo at age 18 and immediately selling it a week later and losing a bunch of money, I really waited until the moment was right. And with that being said, guys, let's get right into the video. Now, the problem with cars is that they kind of have a bad rep online. You know, buying a new BMW is Gary Vee's ultimate, thing you shouldn't do. But I'm a huge car guy, and you might be one as well. And that's why it's important to understand that a lot of the times we work towards these goals, and the only thing that I would advise you to do is just not to jump the gun. And what I mean by this is simply the mistake that I made when I was younger. Now, obviously, when you're making money in any extent, whether you have a good job or any job for that matter, or you're an entrepreneur, you come into some money, whatever it may be, the first thing a lot of people want to do is to buy a car to either show their friends or because they really love it, whatever it may be. Whether you're keeping up with the Joneses or you just have to have it, fine. But the problem a lot of the times is that we reward ourselves earlier than we actually should for something that we actually haven't achieved yet. So when I bought this on my 21st birthday, it took a lot of years of mentally prepping for knowing, whether or not this was a good option or whether I was gonna, feel really upset with the decision after the fact. Now, I personally work for BMW, so I was able to get a very good employee deal on this specific car, and it was, it was worth it rather than buying a used one. Obviously, these cars are a little bit newer. They came out in 2015, and they went up to 2018, obviously the F80 body style, so you could buy them used, but they're still a depreciating asset. Same with that Range Rover over there, which scares the crap out of me because I really have to be able to absorb that cost. As we spoke about with the E46 M3s, those are really good value, but obviously they're very old cars. They're like 17 years old, so it's not the coolest car in the world. There are nice things about the new ones, obviously, too. But I just want to let you guys know that whatever spot you're in, you have to really evaluate if it's worth it to you and who exactly you're doing it for. Now, you might have been like me, not so good at sports in high school or whatever it may be. Maybe you were picked on at some point in your life and your ultimate thing is to buy a nice car and be ultra successful. Listen, we're just being real on this channel. A lot of the times cars are kind of a symbol of, success in some way or another. But, the reality of it is don't beat yourself up for wanting to have that material goal or just that item in general. And I think that a lot of that with me, I was beating myself up because of a previous mistake I made. And this begs the question, how did I afford the car? What made me make the decision to be comfortable in it? And why have I never looked back since purchasing this vehicle? Now, number one, how do I afford it? I've been hustling since I was very young. 11 years old, I started my first iPhone repair company, and I've kind of turned that into a computer company, into a car and computer wholesaling company, obviously separate entities, and to eventually start a digital marketing agency back in 2015 called Solkar Media. Now, obviously with that, the only real money that makes sense and that matters in this world is the sustainable and consistent income. So a lot of the times, you might have a really good deal, you might sell something and make a little bit of a commission or whatever it might be, or a profit, but you got to remember that it's not always replicatable. Now, when I bought the Porsche 911 when I was 18, I knew it was a good deal. It was a 911 Turbo for about $36,000, about $40,000 after tax, and it was also all the money that I had at the time. The problem with that was the fact that it just simply did not make any sense whatsoever because I was selling computers. And if I was selling computers, the problem with that is that I was only as good as my last sale. I had no consistent income, no consistent clients or anything like that. So I was kind of basing off of like these random projections. And that's a lot of people's problem in business, including myself, is that we base our income off of projections that just simply aren't real. So when do you know when it is time? Well, simply, you have to have enough consistent income to afford the payment, the insurance, the gas, and just about everything else that comes along with owning a car like this. Now, obviously, new cars, you pay a premium because you get a warranty and it's new and whatever, and you lose money when you drive it off the lot, yada, yada, yada. I'm the first person to tell you not to buy a new car. However, when you buy it right or you get the right deal and you factor all that stuff in, you price it all in, and you price in the opportunity cost of not having to worry about a car constantly, it might actually be worth it. Now, for me, at 21, it made sense because I was in the stage of growing my business. I really needed something reliable. I didn't really care as much as how people looked at me. I just really wanted the car, and as a 21st birthday gift to myself, I sold my E46 M3 at the time for about $22,000, $23,000, and then I bought this car. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to do it at a certain age, or 21 versus 18 or 25. It doesn't make any difference. But you got to remember that it's all about actually feeling comfortable with the purchase. Because if you don't, you're going to be upset and you're going to be left here with a couple of paperweights. Now, the most important thing that it took me to get to the point of buying this car was just simply not stopping and not getting too spread out with different ideas. Now, I've been involved with plenty of different ideas and businesses and trying to make money in multiple different ways, but what I really kind of came down to was, like I said, building that consistent stream of income. Now, with digital marketing and content creation, number one thing is investing in your craft, getting better at it, using online resources like YouTube to get better at photo, video, and everything in between, learning Facebook ads, trial, error, spending money, etc. Getting a job, learning, benefiting that company, another company on somebody else's dime, but also making yourself valuable to them. It's all of those things combined that really make you a better business person that can ultimately achieve a consistent stream of income to pay for a material item like a BMW. Now, I call cars like this paperweights because if it doesn't actually bring any value into your life, it doesn't actually matter. So it's important to be patient and persistent in anything that you're doing so you can actually comfortably afford whatever it is that you're gonna buy, whether that be a watch, whether that be a car, whether that be a new apartment, what have you. Now, obviously you need some sort of transportation, so there's no arguing that you need a car. It's just to the extent of, if you're losing a bunch of money or you're not profitable in your business or your business goes downhill and you have a very big car payment that you just can't afford, you didn't save for, or any of those things, you're not going to feel good, and it's going to be just as good as a paperweight because it's not going to make you happy like it originally did or was. So like I said, it's just important to build some kind of, whether it's a savings, consistent stream of income that you can rely on, that if something does happen like this pandemic or whatever, you're still comfortable in your purchase because you can't just get out of something super quickly. You can go trade in your car, you can do a bunch of different things, I get it, but you're just not going to feel good. So what you want to do is prolong the feeling of feeling good in any material object that you do buy, and if it's not going to have that prolonged effect, then don't even buy it in the first place. Now, I think a lot of the other problem is people like to keep up with others on the internet, and don't look at me as some guy who's just flaunting a bunch of cash around, because as I told you, the only car in my fleet that isn't an investment is the F80, and the F80 at the time was an investment towards my opportunity cost to focus on my business more and focus on cars less. And now that I kind of got back into flowing again with business, I bought some cars as investments, and I'm slowly realizing that I'm in a little bit over my head because I want to focus myself back on my scalable business, because investing in cars is great. However, it does take up a lot of my time and energy. But I figure if I'm going to have them here, I might as well show you guys the positives and negatives, because it's going to be of some sort of value to you, and I don't want to over glamorize any of these things, because a lot of the times people think that it's just all hunky-dory, and it's just simply not. Now, if you follow my podcast, the 4 Stars Podcast, we're about to post an episode all about what to do when things go wrong, and we do touch on this a bit. It's with my buddy Faz Warsani. He's 19 years old, and he's done crazy 7-figure brands, and he just launched another amazing brand as well. And we're going to get into that on this channel as well, in a little bit shorter form, digestible content, as well as the podcast. But I really want to show you guys what happens behind the scenes of buying these cars, owning these cars, making the money to afford these cars, and if you're in the space, whether it's in e-commerce or digital marketing, to be able to give you guys some kind of understanding of business, because I know that's kind of where everything is shifting towards. Now, obviously with digital marketing, I do a lot of work with dealerships and other businesses to create content and pair that with obviously very targeted advertisement, and I've done really well with that, or at least particularly decently well with that. And now getting into e-commerce, which I've been in for about 3-4 years, but now having a little bit of success in it, but dipping down also, I want to be able to show my knowledge and understandings there, because at the time of starting, I really could have used some help in those fields. So between pretty much digital marketing, e-commerce, and stuff like that is how I afford cars like this. But don't get me wrong, it's not all hunky-dory. A lot of the times people who buy a Range Rover like this go into a dealership, get completely murdered on the price, get crazy finance rates, and then have a car that's just stuck depreciating. The difference with me is the fact that I'm willing and ready to sell this at any point in time, hopefully for a bit of a profit, if not breaking even. Now, there's other cars like the E46 M3s, which hopefully I'll either break even or make a bit of a profit on, and it all makes sense. But a lot of the times, the people you see online, they could be going bust because they're buying stuff for way too expensive. They're getting, having no patience, no waiting for the deal, putting no effort into it, and just trying to flex on the world. So I don't want to come off like that. I know obviously it's easy with cars, but I'm wearing a $7 t-shirt right now that I have custom made by my boy, Matt Hereza from Foca Printing, and that's about all I wear. So maybe I'm not gonna rock a Supreme shirt, but I can show you guys some cars, and you know, these don't lose value every time I wash and shrink them or whatever, like a piece of clothing would. So guys, I want to give you more of an inside look on the channel. Comment down below if there's anything particular you want to hear, or any questions that you have just in general about owning cars, or any of the cars that I own particularly, or work or business, lifestyle, all that stuff, because I really want to get into helping you guys you know, be able to build it for yourself, build brands, build companies, and really be able to create the life that you really dreamed of. Obviously there's no such thing as not working, but maybe doing things that you're more passionate about and that you're just ready to kill it with. So I even have a video of 2014 trying to kind of get into that, but at that time, you know, I was a younger entrepreneur and I didn't really proceed with the videos because I was focused on my business. But now that I have a little bit of time and a little bit more, you know, skills under my belt, I figure it's good time to give you guys some insight. So with that being said, guys, thank you so very much for watching. You can follow my personal Instagram at Kyle Solkar. You can follow me on my media Instagram at Solkar_media, and I'm always posting on either one of those pages. And you shoot me a DM if you want with any questions, and I'll try and address it in one of these videos. With that being said, guys, like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you did not. Subscribing would mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys in the next video.